All right, thank you.
Yeah! What's up, Philadelphia? So last week, Donald Trump and Republicans said that Republicans would, quote, totally protect people with pre-existing conditions, while Democrats will not. Let me ask you guys a question. Did Donald Trump and the Republican Party totally protect people when they try to repeal bans on pre-existing conditions?
No!
Did Donald Trump and Republicans totally protect children when they try to take them away from their parents at the border? An act the American Academy of Pediatrics calls child abuse?
No!
Did Donald Trump and Republicans totally protect women when they try to repeal Planned Parenthood's funding?
No!
By the way, did Donald Trump and Republicans totally protect women when, like Christine Blasey Ford, when they forced her attacker, Brett Kavanaugh, on our Supreme Court?
No!
Donald Trump said this election is a referendum on his presidency. Well, on Tuesday, we are going to send him a message. We are going to start by electing some progressive Democrats. First, our U.S. Congressperson Dwight Evans. Next, our Governor Tom Wolf. Our U.S. Senator Bob Casey. Our U.S. Congressman Brendan Boyle. And Bob Brady. And in 2020, our senior senator from the great state of Illinois, who will be here, Mr. Dick Durbin. As Aiko said, my name is Tarik, and I'm a family nurse practitioner here in the city of Philadelphia. I'm also a proud resident of the home of the first hospital in the U.S. and the home of our world champion, Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles! Now, I want to tell you something that I need you to do next week, something that I've been telling my patients to do over the last couple months. Get out and get your flu shot. Yeah, that is no joke. But more important than that, on Tuesday, you need to get out and vote. Vote, 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 vote. So who's on our ballot this Tuesday? At the top of our ticket is our U.S. Senator Bob Casey. Bob Casey has made access to health care his #1 priority in Washington. When your junior senator from Illinois ran for president in 2008 on a platform of getting more people health insurance, like my patients, and he needed a key endorsement, who was out front to endorse Barack Obama in Pennsylvania? Bob Casey. When President Obama needed help getting 60 votes to get the Affordable Care Act passed, who was there? Bob Casey. And when the Affordable Care Act was on life support, and it needed a champion in the Senate to prevent 24 million Americans from losing their health care, who was there?
Bob Casey.
And I've honestly never seen Senator Casey that mad before. He's usually a pretty happy, easygoing guy. But he cares. He came to our health center in Abbotsford, in Hunting Park, and he met with some of the patients that he saved. Some of the patients that he, Dick Durbin and Barack Obama worked, and also our U.S. Congressman Dwight Evans, who worked to get our uninsured rate at Abbotsford Falls down from 25% to under 10%. But Senator Casey, his opponent Lou Barletta, doesn't think that all Americans deserve to have health insurance.
That's a shame.
Yeah, Lou Barletta has already voted to let insurance companies take away protections for pre-existing conditions. And Lou Barletta didn't just vote to take your health care away once. No, he voted 50 times with his allies in Congress to vote to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Do you guys trust Lou Barletta to protect you?
No!
Are we going to re-elect Senator Casey to represent our great state for another term this Tuesday? Senator Casey can't do it alone. And with your help on Tuesday, Democrats have a fighting chance to take back the Senate. That's right, and we also have a very good chance to take back the House. We're going to start by re-electing our own progressive rock star in Congress, my Congressman Dwight Evans. Wait, Like Senator Casey, Congressman Evans has been relentless in fighting to protect healthcare for our most vulnerable. He hosted a forum at Abbotsford Falls Health Center. Congressman Evans was a vital force to making sure health centers got our funding, and we are now funded through 2020. And he got us an additional $600 million for patients at health centers across the country. And because of Congressman Evans, the Children's Health Insurance Program, a program that he helped to start nearly a quarter century ago in Pennsylvania, is now funded for the next decade. Don't forget last winter, Republicans in Congress, they let CHIP expire. They let over 9 million low and income kids, some of whom were my patients, out in the cold so they could pass their tax cuts for the rich. And if they win on Tuesday, they have promised to once again kill the Affordable Care Act. And remember last year, Republicans came one vote short on cutting Medicaid 35%. Now after the Republicans rewarded the rich donors with huge tax cuts, they're looking now to cut Medicare, cut Medicaid, cut Social Security. Mitch McConnell believes that my most vulnerable patients are to blame for our record deaths and deficits. Make no mistake, severe cuts and block grants of Medicaid will force older adults with Alzheimer's disease out of their nursing homes. Make no mistake, cuts on Medicaid will force my friends with people with disabilities into institutions. And all my patients are asking for, all my friends in the disability community are asking for, is for some compassion, equality, and inclusion. Do we ask Donald Trump and Republicans to protect our health care? Do we ask them to commit to long-term funding to combat our opioid epidemic? I mean, do we ask them that?
Yes, we do.
Do we ask Donald Trump and the Republicans to make sure people with disabilities had equal opportunities to get accessible and affordable housing?
Yes, we do.
Do we ask them to protect laws to protect the environment from making us sick?
Yes.
Do we ask them to end the sale of semi-automatic weapons and increasing background checks for gun sales?
Yes.
And by the way, do we ask them to end mass incarcerations for people of color?
Yes.
And also, did we ask them to make our LGBTQ sisters and brothers, give them the same protections as the rest of us?
Yes.
Did they do any of that?
No.
In some cases, did they do the exact opposite of that?
Yes. They do the opposite.
And I'm sorry, is any of these things too much to ask?
No.
Now, Donald Trump is wrong on just about every issue. But he is right about one thing. He and everything that he stands for is on the ballot this Tuesday.
Yes.
Are we going to put more politicians like Donald Trump in office?
No.
Or do we want politicians who believe that healthcare is a right?
Yes.
Who believe that we should be trying to get people more healthcare rather than trying to take it away?
Yes.
Who believe that if countries like Canada, England, and Germany can get their uninsured rate down to 0%, we in the U.S. can do that as well.
Yes.
So next week we can sit at home, we can complain on Facebook, we can binge watch The Handmaid's Tale and think that's going to be us. Maybe get our flu shot, take whatever else Donald Trump and his friends in Congress have planned for us, or we can vote to make sure that our country begins to once again stand for the principles that make us Americans.
Yes.
Compassion,
Yes.
decency,
Yes.
inclusion,
Yes.
and equal justice for all of us.
Yes.
Stand up, fight back.
Stand up, fight back.
Stand up, fight back.
Stand up,
Fight back.
Stand up,
Fight back.
stand up,
Fight back.
stand up,
Fight back.
stand up.
Fight back.
So let me ask you guys, are you ready for a change?
Yes.
Are you going to get out and canvass with me?
Yes.
Are you going to get your friends and neighbors to the polls?
Yes.
Are you going to vote on Tuesday?
Yes.
Are you going to vote for candidates that share our values like Bob Casey, Tom Wolf, Dwight Evans, Dick Durbin, and Brendan Boyle?
Yes.
And on Tuesday night, are we going to see the coolest, most refreshing, big blue wave in the history of our country? Vote on Tuesday and help us get that big blue wave. 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 Big blue wave.